Welcome to the New You Challenge Acid Alkaline Balance webinar. So today we're going to talk about how to balance your acidity in your body and what that actually means. Because there's a various amount of different diseases and things that can come about from having a negatively balanced acidic environment. So we want to make sure first we understand what that means and how it can benefit your body to be more alkaline. So the human blood pH should be slightly alkaline, which is about 7.35 to 7.45. Anything below or above this range can actually be disastrous for the body. So a pH of 7 is considered neutral, and anything below 7 would be acidic. So we want to actually maintain a pretty close range in order to make sure that the body stays in its optimal functioning the entire time. So this is where things start to get a little bit negative if you start to move out of that neutral and into more of the acidic part. That's when the body will start to develop disease. That's when excess stress is placed on the cells, and the body has to work a lot harder just to maintain exactly where it is. So maintaining a positive alkaline environment is just another tool that you can have that will help to balance your body's natural functioning and will actually help you to maintain proper weight throughout. So what causes the acidic forming, the acid to basically overtake your body? Well, it can be most likely diet. There's stress that can actually contribute to it, toxic overload, and there's different immune reactions and processes that will actually take oxygen out of the nutrients. So and out of your cells, I mean. So you want to make sure that the body is functioning optimally by putting in the right type of fuel into the body to make sure that it is more of an alkaline environment, which will keep it functioning the way that we're looking for, which will keep the cells from having excess stress on them as well. So if you look at from a food list, there's a lot of different things that can cause an acidic environment, and these are found very commonly in most of our standard diets. We want to make sure that we remove that right off the bat, and that we try to include foods that are going to produce more of an alkaline environment. So when you are stuck in that acidic state, the body will actually decrease its ability to process a lot of the minerals. It will actually lose a lot of the nutrients. It will leach a lot of it out of the bones too. And this comes from processed foods like flours and sugars and sugary drinks that will produce a lot of acid in the body. Artificial sweeteners, so things like NutraSweet, Sweet and Low, those are all very acid forming. And taking that stuff in on a regular basis, so the processed sugars, the flours, the processed carbohydrates, will throw your body into a very acidic state. And this can be the reason why you're constantly fighting immune issues, because your immune system will actually be compromised when you are in an acidic state. So you want to make sure that you eliminate a lot of these foods, make sure your immune system is functioning the way that it needs to, and that way the entire body will be functioning optimally. This will help with regulating overall weight as well. So it's very important that we understand the link of how our body sort of falls into this poor state. So to maintain optimal health, diet should consist of about 60% alkaline forming foods and 40% acid forming foods. So you still need the acidic foods because, like I said at the beginning, you need to have your overall pH in a very small range. We still need the acid foods, but you just need to make sure you take in less of them. So this is where removing, it's sort of like a sliding scale. There's foods that are very alkaline and very acidic, and we need to find sort of that in between. So the very acidic foods are going to be your processed carbs, flour, sugar, sweetener, coffee, pop, alcohol, fried foods. Anything that is processed is going to be acidic. So by removing that stuff, you will start to slide along that acid-alkaline scale, moving closer towards the alkaline balance. And there's foods that have more of an alkaline component to them, and there's some that have a little bit less. So depending on how you take them in and what you actually utilize on a daily basis will determine what you're actually going to have in terms of the overall nutrients. So that's very important to understand as well. So if you look at the chart that we have here, the acidic foods are the processed oils, the foods that you normally, the alcohol, so that's another one. And there's also some other foods in there that are normally considered to be healthier foods. So you still want to include those things like berries, um, things like olives. So those are the healthy acidic foods that you can include because you need them in your body. So the bad stuff, the acidic stuff, and the constant overconsumption of these foods that creates this poor environment in our body. So taking them in sparingly, so making sure that these acidic foods do still enter your regular nutritional diet is okay, but it's when we overconsume them that there becomes a big issue. A lot of the symptoms that you can see is depression, headaches, skin problems. Bacteria and viruses thrive in these acidic environments. So this is where you're a lot more susceptible to different diseases, cancer being one of the most common ones that we're finding, and other diseases as well that have been linked to this. So it's very important to understand that. The other component that we sort of want to look at is that when you're in a constant state of acidosis, your body uses its available minerals to help balance its pH level. So this means things like calcium get pulled out of your bones where they're stored. And this can lead to osteoporosis. And this is one of the reasons why, again, osteoporosis is something that is on the rise. Because we are eating these acidic foods, we're placing our bodies in this acidic state, and therefore trying to find any sort of possible way that our body can buffer or neutralize some of this stuff. And this is where osteoporosis comes into play. So we want to make sure that we get rid of that. Alkalizing foods. So these are foods like lemon, lime, leafy greens, celery, cabbage, radish, apples and apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper. So these are all foods that are going to place you along that alkaline scale and closer to that ideal that we're always striving for. And if you look at it, these are all the foods that we have discussed in the past. These are all the leafy greens, the vegetables that we take very little of on a daily basis. So this is something that we want to promote. This is what fuels your cells. This is what builds healthy cells. And this is what we want to make sure that we base our diet around. So these healthy foods are very easy to include on a daily basis. You just have to make that shift to make them a primary fuel as opposed to just something that you add in as sort of a here and there substitute. So you want to make sure that this is something that you're basing your meals around, and it will make your body more alkaline. The benefits that you're looking at now are going to be increased energy, increased immune function, so you're going to be able to fight off those diseases better, reduced overall chronic inflammation or systemic inflammation, which we've discussed in the past, how important it is to get rid of this, and an overall slower aging process, which also is very important because we want to make sure that we age in a healthy way and that we slow down a lot of this damage to our cells, which essentially is what causes the premature aging in our bodies. So the best way to include this is through green juices or smoothies. So if you look at all the foods that are very alkalizing, you're looking at things that are green, looking at things that are colorful, and this is what you want to throw into your smoothie. So even something as simple as a lemon or a lime with a little bit of celery, some spinach or some greens, a little bit of water is going to be very alkalizing. And this is going to help to rebalance your system right off the bat and give you that boost of energy and give you that much needed alkaline component that you're probably missing. So you want to make sure that this is something that you start to include on a daily basis. As you can see, there's a lot of different benefits that come from using smoothies or juices. You can also use juices as well, not only smoothies. But we've discussed some of it in the past, but I want you guys to just really understand that this is something that should be included on a daily basis, as it will begin to shift everything into more of an alkaline state. It takes some time, just like everything else, but slowly your body will start to recover. You will notice, you'll notice quicker recovery. You'll notice that you're not getting sick as much. Your immune system is functioning better, and this is all because we're taking in more nutrients and we're making the body more alkaline overall. Therefore, you're fighting things off a little bit quicker. Okay? So that's what I want you to incorporate into your diet now if you're not already doing it. If you are doing it, you can always do another smoothie throughout the day just to give your body another boost and to make things work a little bit better. Remember, health is something that you maintain, not something that you attain. So it's something that you're always going to be working towards, and it's something that is always going to require that overall effort. Okay? So we'll see you next week.